Right, welcome. This is a member class. Today is June 28th, 2024. So today we're going to do something new and special. And many of you probably remember we covered this at least once or twice because this is perhaps the most important topic for anyone who aspire or aim for the ascension, spiritual development, ascension, or interested in the betterment of life in general. So again and again, I said that the energy is intelligent and almost anything or everything we could think of or feel and embody is filled with consciousness. Now, life, if you believe the continuation of consciousness, the stream of consciousness, and you are obviously a part of and a big part of, and in true, the fact is, you exist here and now means self. You are the center of the stream of consciousness. So when I say stream, it is a continuation, and this embodiment is really the embodiment in a vessel. And after this vessel, you will likely have another vessel waiting for you. When we go to one to the next, obviously we don't bring our possession or money, for example, but there's a certain thing we will bring to the next and the next vessel embodiment as a part of consciousness. And that is your personal energy signature, which is made up of many different things. What are those many different things? The core principle of the center, the make up of all the things you bring is actually the coding of what we understand, the attitudes, and then also that come with the responsibilities. Now, when we graduate from those attitudes and responsibilities, that is, we are ready for the next octave, which is a completely different heaven. So this is a heaven here, ground level, and it is the heaven on top. And that is usually the time that you graduate to the next. So there's a many different similar principle, attitude and responsibilities. So this is not only that, only that attitude and responsibility, but it's a very good one. So this is why we went through. Just for the refresher, I will bring out what are those 12 principles. So this is 12 attitudes, right? And those are the 12 attitudes. And interestingly, when we think of attitude, I haven't thought of in a terms of programming, but it is actually that your core programming that coming from experience and the thought process and intuition feeling that you carry from not just this life but the previous. So it is something very core to you, and much of it you may not realize. So it is kind of important to compare and contrast the what you believe of what this is. Like for example, what is love, and then described by this more like a third party kind of textbook kind of things, and then feel joy and have fun with it when you, especially when you see the gap. Well, I don't think that define this to me. So that is how you kind of discover it's not so much you're wrong or you have a gap from the original textbook, but it's more to understand, your who you are, your the core principles, And it is up to you to kind of look at this and then, well, I kind of agree, buy into this principle. And then I kind of go re-edit or rewrite or make it more powerful or whatever. So that's that. It's not like this is something absolute and you must follow, otherwise you can ascend. No, but it is a good time to kind of consider which program, which attitude will work for you, and which one, and how you want to bring that to your next stream of your, adding your consciousness stream or stream of consciousness. Because you want to continue to grow and bring in more and more of the higher frequency. In order to do so, you will need to bring your vessel and more of the abundance and more room to expand. So you're going to bring in more of that. And this will help you. And in a way the one way to understand each of the principle, we basically gave the opposite programming, right? Just so that we could deepen understanding of each of this. Because we could say, grace, I am grace. I allow all what it is. I forgave, and I will forgive. It's all kind of nice, very well said, right? That is a grace is saying. Well, that's not how I was thinking about grace. But then think of something opposite of grace. Why this is a grace, right? And then I want you to be kind of pick one theme that really resonate with you. And for next whole week, I dedicated to the ambassador of this particular programming. And kind of challenge yourself throughout the day, or just reflect upon yourself. And I might be done, did I do all the things, or how was my thought process and interaction with the people? Am I was I a good ambassador for grace today? Yeah. So that's kind of things to make it more like alive. So let's see if that's what's love, right? Opposite of love was fear. Unlikely what we think hate. Yeah, that's kind of aha moment. And this is a grace, right? So the opposite of grace is hate. Isn't it interesting? So it's not the love, the grace versus hate. So I think this is kind of like it's kind of knock your heart or head together. And how do you feel about this? How do you think? Right? What's your heart and mind? It's in alignment when you hear this, or do you feel some gap? And that's a really good thing on its own. But then also knowing this opposite energies set collectively, you actually transmute that discrepancy or dense energy. When we have a correct energy set, we could bring to the 0 point or mutual or transmute, meaning that bringing in the two opposing energy together and make it back to the void space, means back to the original source, the way they belong, rather than keeping inside or embodiment and manifest as illness and disease. So that is the one trick that people don't know how to make a peace within, because we're thinking in a conflicting energy, love and hate. That's been said many times in many other ways, but that's not the correct set of opposing energy. It's love, fear, grace, hate, and then very finally we could be able to transmute those collectively opposed energy. I don't know you understand what I'm saying, but energy is the best to deal with energy. And a lot of those things we going through, attitude is a program energy. And the programming will be mute itself when you meet opposing programming. So it's matches in sphere. But if you put in a wrong pair, this is how this karma and infinite karmic energy, right, continue and brew, and then the more the manifestation of the same energy coming back to you, no matter how many times you try to heal. So this is a one, the good one to going through. And I'm just gonna go. I'm not gonna go through individual one because we already covered all the things. Now I'm gonna bring out the very last things that second from the last. How funny, it's 11. And that I had a problem with, right? So this is something it's very difficult for me. Engage detachment. And that is something I really need to practice over and over, especially we live in such a dichotomy, binary, extremely binary place, right? So engage detachment, that is really the topic for me. So I think it's good to recognize and have some area. I would say I kind of was thinking of my weakness, but could be a strength. But right now, it's something that I like to work on, and then pick one of those 12 principle and work toward it, so you feel accomplishing something, or you're working or interacting with this energy, and it eventually will talk to you in the right time. Okay. So we have some mantra and things, some kind of coping things. And then we ended class, I think it's a year or two ago. So this is a 12 attitude of mastery. And interestingly, this also correspond to the chakra system, energy system, and all that. So it is interesting. You could start, placing those things 1 through 12, right? And then actually have a corresponding sacred geometry. So this is another thing that I like to talk more of going forward. So this is a wheel of 12 attitude and responsibility or programming. And I will explain a little bit more. You could see again the wheel kind of looking things, and a lot of circle and 12 point, 12 circles. And in the backdrop, I don't know if you could see this, we did this a feel good code, almost looks like a flower petal, right? And it's as is a backdrop. And then you see the beautiful color of marble looking things, right? Outside. And this inside is actually simplified symbol. Let me just make it bigger. Just maybe, is that better? I don't know if you can see well, but this is a corresponding attitude of programming of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it goes to the 12. And then we actually have a 13 as a middle. And this is everything combined, all those, and become this symbol. Now, this one inside of that corresponding sphere is to make it a little smaller. Do you see this pattern? The color is corresponding to chakra, but also there's a symbol inside. And this is a simplified form of this to this. So it's more like a flat. Okay. And that came from this. So you could kind of see it, right? Do you see that? There's this particular symbol here, the core, and then there's some shape you could tell going like this. So this is more fluid. You almost could almost see they're moving, by itself, right? Have some energy itself, but then you simplify the form of a symbol. Now, when we do the DNA meditation, Diane, do you remember we did the other day together? And we found the 1 point to work on? Actually,
Yes.
yeah. So actually you could use this. So mine was 11, and remember correctly, it was 6, right? So this is the 1, 6 here, and this is a symbol. So you're gonna meditate looking at this to projecting to your chakra, just 6 chakras, so your third eye, and just looking at the color itself and a symbol or this, doesn't matter which one, itself will self-correct and then realign back to the divine template. So I was thinking of you, Dave. I was when I was looking at this because you were very much more tuned to the higher frequency, which is the sacred geometry world. I think it's a 15. That's kind of how high it goes, and this is an amazing tool for those who able to not only decode a process and encode it into your own energy field. So you could just look at it, oh wow, that's it's pretty color, that's fine. And then it's interesting that some of the color, those color is a frequency, is in a particular, not like arbitrary thing. It was carefully picked and placed in a certain mathematical coding and in the shape also. So that all the combined, it is itself is a programming and emitting um, blasting, the beaming at you a certain frequency, and the sum of the thing is you're more ready to than others. Usually, it's best to pick one at a time and focus on it, and then you might feel, or how do you say this? That you start to having a feedback. And that is the time you graduate from the frequency for at this moment, and you could move to the next. When we do the DNA meditation, they usually give you some which door or which direction or what color. And then that's it's actually that you're working on off from this template, and you could put um, emphasis on the area that you want to more focus on to bring to more live or activation. Or you could just pick, well, I really like to have more creativity, or we need to grant more. And in that case, it's a corresponding chakra, right? You have this coding and to work with. Now, when we're graduating to fulfill all those 12 elements, and then we come here, the Yume Zen, that is a mantra, and this is a symbol. And I really love this symbol so much. I really kind of talk to your nervous system or something. But I will show you the one that, see, Diane, it's for you. So this is Virtue 6, Raze A. That is the mantra. So you could say this. It's more like a sound therapy. Or meditate with this here, the color. Or this, whichever you like. And then this is really important mark here. This one here that you see here. And then I love this because you feel the energy. And, almost you could see the 3D form or 4D form, it kind of shift and change depending on how you focus on. It's kind of fun. And you could meditate using this mantra and looking at it. So you're doing two things simultaneously, sound and light. And then also the cognition of the virtual three, geometrical. So it's called geomancy. There's a specific, not just so geomancy is an important word. It's not just geometry that we're working on. We're working on the specific geometry on a specific locus, so the area. So this one is a third eye, yes, and a sixth chakra, and a 0.6 of the tree of life, and a sixth, your auric field, which correspond to sixth dimension, which also correspond to the six, the gate six. It all kind of relate. And the components, gratitude, prudence, perseverance, generosity, quality, prosperity. Chakra 6, third eye, dimension 6, higher mental. So it's a density 2, which is a second higher heaven. Right? The color is indigo. There's a lower and a higher aspect. And element, water and ether. So I always see you as a water floating on the water. It makes sense in the ether, water. The tone is da. So there are so many tools you work off from and work with, and hopefully just help you, Diane, from the exercise we did.
Yes, thank you. I love this symbol.
Yeah, feel free to remind me if you need this. I could definitely send this picture. You could, feel free to.
I took a screenshot.
Yeah, that's probably the best. Absolutely. And then mine was 11 that I need to work on. So ho o yun. So that's the mantra. I always thought this is interesting, like almost a skier, like what is that called? Like jumping, ski jumping, or what Olympic. It's almost like a to me remind me of this Olympic Winter Olympic sign. But I was joking. But
Like
let's
an octopus to me.
octopus. Oh yeah, I can see that now. That's kind of funny too. Um, so this is a two. Two is the tone. Passion, qualities, passion, including but not limited to sexual. Oh my goodness. That's I will have to feel or enhance or whatever. My goodness. Cleanliness. My goodness. Are you talking about my garden? It's like all my kind of shadow toggles surfacing. Okay. With restraint, self-control, discretion. Oh my goodness. My chocolate addiction is all coming back. Anyway, so physical element density 4. And color is silver black, metallic platinum silver, air and ether. And the tone is 2. So I will meditate through this, and according to Diane, it's octopus. I could start seeing the octopus here, like baby octopus, maybe. I like the color. So 11 is the non-physical, so kind of it have to really focus on 18-inch above the head. I'm not so good with the inches, but I think 18-inch. 18-inch, I would say not quite to the ceiling, is it? I'm just trying to figure out those 8 by 11 paper. So that's 12. Yeah, not quite to the ceiling, maybe halfway from here to the ceiling. That's a chakra point I need to focus on. I feel like I'm looking at the sky, looking at this chakra. I'm not chakra, I mean the geomancy, platinum, silver. Okay. Okay. Yume-san is the final one, but this one in the center. And then there is some picture, just this one. It's really amazing. Maybe that's gonna be the next session if that we're gonna, if people are interested in. Um, but it is a great thing to have. This is a template. And then the next time we do the DNA, our DNA checkup, right? We can look at this and do the meditation, or just do that same way we did and bring the number or direction and look at this so that we have a more more tangible thing to work with. So this is another way to kind of accelerate your ascension process. And you don't have to if you don't feel up for it. This is a tool to accelerate your spiritual development rather than going through like a trial and error in a hard way where you experience it in terms the walk the way, and then hopefully next we're gonna correct before, and we're not gonna keep repeating the same karmic pressure or karmic burden. And so this one, once you know the area of the improvement, you're gonna pick this geomancy, and this will actually directly talk to your energy point where the the programming is somewhat not complete or somewhat corrupted in a sense, or maybe duplication. It's so many other things that could happen, and it will directly connect to that, and you're directly walking through this geomancy. Um, and by doing so with positive intention, and you'll be able to overcome, improve, and back to more of the divine original programming. So I think this is a simple, I think, but it is always good to have intellectual understanding or mentally kind of know that what you are doing with it, so that the people actually do it and continue um, until hopefully they enough to hold that this frequency, so that you'll be able to have the better and more improved and fulfilled life. So that's basically the goal here. All right, I will take question and comment, but the meantime, I will close the recording here, and thank you so very much for coming and listening. Let me stop share and stop recording.